When working inside of Lightroom, it's not uncommon to have hundreds, if not thousands of images within your library. You may want to be able to organize those images in a way that best suits your needs. For example, maybe you want to take all of your best images and be able to quickly recall them. So if you have to put together a portfolio, you can do that quickly and easily. Well, there's something inside of Lightroom called albums that gives you this ability. In Lightroom Classic, this is known as collections. So when you create a collection, you can essentially put images within that collection. But by putting an image within a collection, you're not changing its location within your folder structure, but rather you're creating a link from that collection to that image. The same principles apply to an album here. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we can work with collections or albums inside a Lightroom. You'll notice in the panel section over here on the left-hand side, I have several different directories that contain different images. And if for some reason you don't see this, you can click on this icon here to collapse this panel. So once again, you notice that I have different directories. I have cats, dogs, and tutorial 1, which we created on the previous video. So to browse on each album, all you have to do is just click on the thumbnail, and you'll notice that aside from the name here, there is a corresponding number on the right indicating how many images or items are inside that album. Now, there are a couple of ways on how you can build your new collection or album. First is you can simply click on this plus icon here, and you can choose Create Album. You can achieve the same action by going to the Edit menu, and under Album, you can click on Create Album. At that point, the Create Album dialog box appears, and you can type in the name for your album. In this case, I'll type in car. Now, down here, if you have some photos selected before you create a new album, Lightroom will let you add those selected photos in the album. And in this case, you'll notice on the background that I have the cat selected here, which has this white outline indicating that it is highlighted. At this point, if I click on Create and click on the car album, we will have that cat photo, which was selected earlier, added on this album. Now, it is very clear on the album name that this album is not intended for cats, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this. So with the cat photo selected inside our car album, I'm going to hit on a backspace on my keyboard, and Lightroom will prompt us if we really want to delete that photo in this album. Also keep in mind that deleting these photos in an album does not delete it inside the application. So you can still see that in the All Photos section, which serves as our library for our photos. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Remove Photo. Now, this album is empty. And at this point, we can click on Add Photos here. Or go to the File menu and click on Add Photos. Once again, the System File Browser pops up, and then you can import photos. So I'll just click on this car here, and then I'll hold down the Shift key and click on the red car here. Now, holding the Shift key selects everything in between the first point of click and the last point of click, which in this case is the blue car here. Now I'm going to click on Review for Import. So now in here, you can notice that we already have the car album pre-selected. So I'll just click on Add 3 photos, just like so. Now we have our car album set up. Now let me just create one more album here, and I'll name this People, and deselect, include the select photo, and click on Create. So some users create empty albums in advance so that they can use it for later. For example, if you choose to import a folder containing random pictures, you can access all the photos by going to the All Photos section. And in here, we can simply browse on the photo that we want to put together. In this case, I want the photos with people to go to our people album. So I can select them by holding down the shift key. And if you have some other photos that you want to select that is not next to them, you can hold down the control command key and click. And that will add it to the current selection. So let me just go ahead and click that again to undo that. Now with these photos selected, I can now right click on them, and in this contextual menu, we will choose add photos in album. You can also see it tells you how many photos you have selected. And then in here you can choose to which album you will add it. Another way to do this is to just click and drag the photos to the album you want. And as I hover my mouse here on the albums panel, you'll notice that the album is being highlighted in blue, indicating that if you release the mouse, it will add these photos inside that album. At this point, if you want to rename your album, you can right click on it and choose rename album. If you want to change the thumbnail picture of your album, you can simply select a photo on the album or on your photo library and then right click and then select set as album cover. Now you will see the thumbnail on the album changes. Let me just right click again, and in here in this contextual menu you can see a lot of things that we can do, which we will look at as we progress on our module. But for now, we can go down here on the delete and add section, and you might ask what's the difference of a delete photo from remove photo from album. Basically, when you delete the photo, you are deleting it inside the Lightroom application and on your Adobe Cloud storage. So if you want to use it next time, you need to import it back again from your local storage. Now, when you remove photo from album, you are just deleting it on that album, and you still have it inside the program and Adobe Cloud storage. So this means that if you, let's say, have this car photo inside of the tutorial album, let me just drag that there, and I'll just right click on it, and then I'll just choose delete. Now you will see that Lightroom is going to warn you that you'll be deleting this photo in your Lightroom photos and your albums and shares. So if we click on OK, now you will notice that it is gone here on the car album and also on the tutorial 1 album, unlike if you're just deleting it on that album. Another thing that I want to show you is you can set your target album. And when you do this, you can easily add photos to the album you targeted by just pressing a key on your keyboard. To demonstrate this, I'll right-click on our car album here and set car as the target album. At this point, you will see a tooltip indicating that you can press T on your keyboard to quickly add the selected photo to the targeted album. Now I can simply just go back to my photo library, select a photo, and just press T on my keyboard, and you can see that it will add it on that album. Pretty cool, right? Finally, if you want to be more organized with your album, you can create folders to categorize your albums. So you can click on the plus icon here again and click create folder. I'll just type in animals and click create now. I can highlight the albums that I want and just click and drag them inside that folder. In this way, it will be much more easier to identify where you will find the photos that you need. You can create as many subfolders you want to organize your photos. So, once again, albums or collections are a great way to organize images, giving you the ability to quickly recall a set of images that you mark for a particular album.